OTF Jam thought he could outsmart everyone, thinking he could strike a deal with the feds and escape the heat by handing over the final piece of evidence needed to take down Lil Durk. He probably believed that with his cooperation, he would secure his own safety and freedom. But as soon as he was released from protective custody, things quickly took a turn for the worse. It didn't take long for the OTF crew to catch wind of his whereabouts, and word on the street is that they found him hiding out in a house just outside of Atlanta. The situation escalated fast when they tracked him down. Jam had to pay for the ultimate betrayal of snitching on Durk, and it wasn't pretty. Reports suggest that the crew made sure to send a clear message, letting everyone know there were severe consequences for turning on one of their own. What made this even more intriguing was the evidence that popped up after his fall. A photo surfaced that showed Jam's hideout, marking the beginning of his reckoning, but the real jaw-dropper came when the OTF crew stumbled upon an old Instagram live video that exposed Jam in a major way. In the footage, Jam was standing next to Durk, seemingly wearing a wire and constantly touching his jacket in a way that looked highly suspicious. He was whispering into the jacket like he was trying to cover up something, or maybe trying to relay a message to his handlers. It almost felt like an old-school spy trick straight out of a movie, with Jam acting like he was feeding the feds information while pretending to be close to Durk. During the live, he was heard saying, "A lie, man. Hey, when I was growing up, AR, what happened to who? What happened to all that talk on the net?" It was a cryptic moment that raised a lot of eyebrows. Was he trying to send a coded message to someone on the outside, or was it a subtle way of implicating Durk and his crew? Either way, this was a massive slip-up that ultimately exposed Jam's true allegiance. But here's the biggest question: did Jam really get enough evidence to bring down Lil Durk? Despite his apparent efforts, the reality of his actions remains unclear. Did the feds get the intel they needed, or was Jam just grasping at straws in a desperate attempt to save himself? Durk himself hinted in a recent interview that he was aware of Jam's betrayal. He didn't outright say it, but the suggestion was clear. He knew Jam had been working with the feds long before his arrest. Durk's response in the interview also made it clear that he wasn't intimidated by the situation. In fact, he seemed confident that whatever evidence Jam had gathered wasn't enough to take him down. It's possible that Durk was always one step ahead, knowing that Jam was playing both sides and he'd been preparing for the fallout. While the feds may have thought they had a solid case, Durk's awareness of the situation could be a game changer. At the end of the day, this saga between Durk, Jam, and the feds is far from over. It's still unclear whether Jam's efforts to take down Durk will ultimately succeed, or if it's just another twist in a much larger game of cat and mouse. But one thing's for sure: this story is far from finished, and as it unfolds, it continues to reveal the complex dynamics of loyalty, betrayal, and survival in the world of rap and street life. So once Durk realized he had to take care of himself more, he started cutting people off. He wasn't letting anyone into his house anymore. He even said, "Nobody goes to my house, not even my best friend." For real. That's just how Durk is. He's not the type to throw big family nights at his place. It's more like, everyone's getting watched and you gotta be careful with my kids. He's serious about that. He said, "If you get too close to my kids, you know what to do." He's not playing when it comes to protecting his family. Now, it's a tough pill to swallow seeing Jam turn on Durk after everything Durk did for him. When Jam got out of that 12-year prison sentence, Durk was the one who gave him $50 K to get back on his feet, made sure he was safe in lockup, got him a place and even a car. Durk was all in for Jam, saying, "I got you, no questions asked." Jam even admitted, "I've been out for just over a year, 12 years straight, didn't snitch on anyone, but somehow he got tied up with OTF, and Durk just stepped up for him like, 'I'll give you $50 K, no strings attached.'" The problem is, Jam wasn't totally in the clear. He was still on parole and got caught with a gun, which could have sent him back to prison for at least 5 more years. Knowing he couldn't risk going back, Jam decided to work with the feds and turn informant on Durk and OTF. Lil baby? He couldn't believe it, calling it a straight-up betrayal. He said, "This can't be true. Free Durk. These streets are cold. Your own people will turn on you." On the other hand, Charleston White had a different take. He actually called it a win for the community, saying, "This is a real victory for people who love hip-hop but don't want to see all the violence." He even said, "Down goes drill music." It honestly felt like the system finally getting the upper hand. Now, everything's pointing to Jam's wire and all the evidence. The feds collected stuff like iCloud records, wiretaps, and even Durk's own lyrics. It's wild when you think about how deep the feds have been looking into Durk, using his lyrics like, "Look on the news and see your son screaming no," which some think refers to Q's reaction after Lil Po's passing. There's also a line about getting a location, which might connect to Brick Baby allegedly giving Durk Q's location. If that's true, it changes everything about loyalty in the streets. And here's the kicker: Durk's facing a lot more than just murder for hire charges. The feds are hitting him with several serious charges, including conspiracy, using interstate facilities to commit a crime, and even possession of firearms. These are hefty charges that could lead to major legal consequences, and the fact that he's facing them all at once is no small matter. On top of that, his lyrics are being scrutinized more than ever. We've all heard how some rappers unintentionally self-snitch through their music, and Durk might have just found himself in that very situation. A lot of his lyrics have been taken as confessions or admissions of guilt, and that could be a major factor in the prosecution's case against him. Rappers are often caught in the crossfire of their own art, and Durk might have crossed a line where his words in the studio are now coming back to haunt him in court. Durk's arrest sent shockwaves through the rap world. The entire industry has been watching closely, and reactions have been mixed. Even YSL Woody, who knows all too well the risks of street retaliation, said that Durk shouldn't have gone for revenge in the first place. His arrest has raised eyebrows about how rappers navigate the dangerous intersection between their street credibility and their music careers. The legal and street worlds seem to be colliding in Durk's case, with his OTF crew in the mix and the law tightening its grip. It's a reminder of just how quickly things can escalate in the rap game, where one wrong move can lead to a downfall. And what's even crazier, the story is still unfolding, and no one knows what's coming next. Will Durk face the consequences of his actions, or will he manage to avoid a lengthy sentence? Only time will tell, but this is a cautionary tale for anyone in the rap game. The stakes are higher than ever.
Nobody is ever allowed to my house. It be my best friend never been in my house.
For real?
So, this whole case pretty much goes back to when King Von got hit by Q's crew back in 2020. After that, Quando dropped a diss track about Von, and that didn't sit well with Durk at all. Fast forward to now, and Durk's retaliation is what's landing him in serious trouble. He's facing charges that could get him locked up for life. But here's where it gets interesting. When Durk heard Key diss Von, he set up a hit on Key's crew. And to let them know he was coming, he pretty much said it in his rap lyrics. They like Durk, he a singer, he won't do something. Believe what you want, he was not holding back. He even said, I got your folks hit right now. Now, the police are after 3 people tied to the hit. One's a rapper from Savannah, part of Durk's crew. This all went down in Los Angeles, and the cameras caught everything. After news of Lil Po's passing broke, Quando got even more upset and dropped another diss track about Von, saying my favorite gone. His sister talks too much. No, I don't like her. Things got crazy when Timmy rolled up Von's brother, stepping on his night kicks. But here's where it gets even crazier. Durk was super disrespectful, even mocking Quando for crying about losing his best friend. He rapped something like, look on the news and see your son screaming, no, no. It was rough. But hold up, the feds have been investigating Durk for 2 years now, and they think they've got enough to build a case. But Durk's lawyer, Bradford Cohen, is saying, I'm not so sure they have a strong case against Durk. They still have a long way to go so far. The only thing they've got is a text where Durk says, don't have them associate my name with any flights. Cohen saying that's not enough to stick. He thinks they need way more evidence. And even if the feds have been tapping Durk's phone and computer, Cohen isn't convinced they've got enough to lock him up. It all comes down to who the feds can flip. They'll offer deals to the people who were less involved. But if no one flips, they might not have much to go on. What's also really interesting about this case is that it's not just about money, it's deeper than that. There's a lot of talk that it's tied to bigger career moves and power struggles behind the scenes. The feds seem to believe that the hit on Quando Rondo wasn't just a random act of violence, but part of a much larger game being played in the world of hip-hop. They're saying 5 men with ties to Durk's OTF crew were directly involved in the hit on Rondo. This connection is significant because it hints at the idea that this wasn't just personal, it was strategic, possibly linked to maintaining or asserting power, sending a message, or controlling influence in the industry. The feds have even made the claim that these men were using credit cards that are connected to OTF Only the Family, Durk's label and crew, to book flights and rentals, which ties the crew directly to the hit. Using these types of financial transactions is a big deal because it shows premeditation. It's not just about getting from point A to point B. This was carefully planned, and it's these kinds of details that the feds will use as evidence to make their case stronger. But that brings up a key question. Was this simply an attempted hit, or was there something bigger at play here? Was it about more than just revenge or retaliation? We know the world of hip-hop, especially in the streets, is competitive. Careers can rise or fall with one wrong move. For someone like Durk, who's made a huge name for himself, this could have been a calculated effort to eliminate a rival or send a warning, not just to Quando but to others who might threaten his position in the game. The idea of using such violent means to assert dominance is sadly not uncommon in the industry, where rappers often battle for respect and influence. This case could be part of that larger narrative of power plays both in the streets and in the industry, and the feds are clearly looking at it through that lens. What's also striking is how much pressure the authorities are putting on Durk right now. They are treating him as a central figure in all of this, and the way they're handling the investigation makes it clear they believe he's deeply involved. This isn't just another celebrity getting caught up in something. The feds are going after him with the idea that they can take down a major player in the game. They're methodically building their case, and Durk's lawyer is feeling the heat. He's trying to downplay the evidence, saying that it's circumstantial, but it's hard to ignore the fact that the feds are going after Durk so aggressively. The pressure is mounting, and it's clear the authorities see him as a key figure they need to target if they want to get to the bottom of this. As Boosie said about YNW Melly, when they want you, that's a chilling statement because it speaks to the relentless pursuit law enforcement will have once they've set their sights on someone. They'll dig into everything: phone records, financial transactions, even associates, all to build a case that sticks. And it's not just about the money or power at this point, it's about making an example out of someone who's seen as a leader in this world of street violence and music. The feds aren't likely to back off anytime soon, and Durk's team is going to have to fight harder than ever to keep him out of prison. This case is far from over, and we can only expect it to get more intense as the investigation continues. With each new piece of evidence, things could either clear up for Durk or get worse. For now, it's clear that this is only the beginning of what could be a long and drawn-out legal battle, and the stakes are higher than ever.